Nine Flames Sovereign Chapter 1, Korean Style. Great Jin Country, People in the City. On the martial arts square of the Han family, early in the morning, one after another, children from 10 to 15 years old came here to practice martial arts, and when these children arrived, they had already seen one after another. The 13-year-old boy, who looks between ordinary and delicate, makes various movements on the martial arts field. It's the earliest Han Feng came again. It has been 3 years in a row. Yes, it's a pity, it's obviously a fourth-class qualification, even higher than ours, but because of physical problems, I haven't cultivated my internal energy after so many years of hard work. I heard that the patriarch and others are very disappointed. Many children and teenagers between the ages of 10 and 15 muttered. This one who spoke, obviously feels a bit pity at Han Feng's situation. But there is also a sarcasm. Han Feng's father is a trash, and doing such things has caused us the Han family to lose a lot. I am afraid that this is the retribution to Han Feng's father, and the retribution is to his son. The young man who is speaking is called Han Lin, Han Feng's cousin. Now he is more than 14 years old and has opened 3 main lines. Among the young people under the age of 15 in the Han family, he can be said to be a leader. If the wind is strong, the only thing inferior to Han Feng is the qualification. Han Feng's aptitude is 4th class, while Han Lin's aptitude is 5th class, which is lower than Han Feng's. After Han Feng's aptitude was measured, Han Lin was very upset. Who knew Han Feng's body but didn't know what the reason was that it was unable to generate internal energy and wasted the 4th level qualifications, which made Han Lin breathe out. Because of this, Han Lin always liked to ridicule Han Feng. Is actually jealous. If Han Lin himself had a 4th class qualification, he might have already opened up 4 or even 5 main veins. Han Feng, the core character of many children's discussions, did not seem to have heard him. He still exercised his body and was familiar with the basic long boxing and basic leg techniques taught by his family. Not long after, when all the children and teenagers arrived, they began to exercise basic long punches and basic leg skills. Whether it's the basic long boxing and basic boxing methods, there are 9 types. Han Feng played it back and forth several times, slowly returning to work, and exhaled, I can't be proficient in the basic long boxing and basic legs. Inner strength, these people are not my opponents, but, at this point, Han Feng shook his head, but there was no bitterness on his face, as if he was not disappointed at all that he hadn't developed any internal energy after 3 years of cultivation. Even, when Han Feng heard the discussion and pity of him from the surrounding teenagers, the corners of his mouth curled up, which seemed quite mysterious. He touched his heart without a trace, and the light in Han Feng's eyes flashed. 3 years from the beginning of cultivation, I have a hunch, at most a few days, or even today, I can unlock it. This secret, then. Immediately, Han Feng began to practice basic boxing and basic legs. At this time, a middle-aged man came to the martial arts field. As soon as this man appeared, all the children and teenagers on the martial arts field straightened their waists for fear of being reprimanded. This middle-aged man is an instructor surnamed from outside the Han family, surnamed Lin, and is known as Instructor Lin. His cultivation has reached the 4-star rank, and he is not considered a weak person in the Han family. Instructor Lin's teachings are very strict. The children and teenagers in the martial arts training ground are only 15 years old and have never gone out to practice. They are very in awe of Instructor Lin. Instructor Lin saw that the staff arrived and said loudly, My sons from the Han family, I have been teaching you basic boxing and basic legging for nearly 3 years. Originally, I didn't intend to give it to you before you reached the age of 15. This year of yours is 1 level stronger than the previous one. The strongest Han Lin is not far from getting through the 4th main line, so yesterday you got the approval of the patriarch to teach you claw condensation in advance. Wow! The crowd suddenly became in an uproar. The condensing claw technique is an extremely superior existence among the basic martial arts. Generally, only those martial artists who have opened up 5 or 6 main lines will be allowed to practice by the family, but they unexpectedly moved ahead. For a time, everyone's grateful eyes fell on Han Lin. Han Lin is the warrior who is about to get through the 4 main veins. Feeling the gratitude of everyone, Han Lin was very proud. Han Feng's eyes flashed with fiery eyes. Condensing claw skills, basic martial arts skills. The previous basic Changquan and basic leg techniques were both basic and inferior martial arts. Even if they were rewarded, they actually crossed the basic intermediate martial arts level. Instructor Lin asked everyone to stand separately, and then his face changed abruptly, and a fierce and mighty breath came out, and there was even a trace of evil spirit. None of these Han boys have experienced this kind of experience. They were all made pale by such fierce aura. Han Feng also had a bad complexion and his body was shaking slightly. This is because Instructor Lin did not target them, otherwise. Human rank martial artist, really powerful, like the human rank 4-star. What kind of situation will the patriarch grandpa who has reached the human rank 10-star strength? Han Feng thought in shock. For a while, Han Feng fell into the adoration of powerful warriors, not only Han Feng, but also other teenagers. Drink? Instructor Lin screamed sharply, his palms quickly condensed into claws, and one claw grabbed it. The huge rock in front of Instructor Lin was snapped to pieces in an instant, and then Instructor Lin shook quickly again, using a variety of moves. For a long time, Instructor Lin put away the offensive, the atmosphere before suddenly returned to normal, and many young people looked at Instructor Lin with fiery eyes. Instructor Lin smiled slightly and began to show slowly while emphasizing some key points. Okay, there are only so many key points of claw condensation. Everyone practice on the spot. Han Feng stood on the spot and closed his eyes. He kept thinking about every movement of Instructor Lin before. For a long time, Han Feng opened his eyes abruptly, and his movements started slowly. At first they were a bit jerky, but slowly, his movements became more and more proficient. The speed is getting faster and faster. Although it can't be compared with Instructor Lin, at least it can be fully displayed. Instructor Lin swept the audience and paused on Han Feng's body. Sure enough, it is Han Feng who is the first to show this. Such extraordinary comprehension ability, his own qualifications are 4th class, in the future. It's a pity that something went wrong with my body, alas. Instructor Lin shook his head, it was a pity that he had lost such a good seed. After Han Feng performed the Ning Claw technique completely, the other teenagers stopped their bodies and took a look, and then they started their own practice, but they started talking with each other again. Every time it seems that Han Feng is the first to fully display his tricks. Before, I thought that the basic martial arts is too simple, but the condensing claw skill is superior to the basics. I didn't expect it to still. Whatever he does, he can't cultivate his inner strength. Is there a flowery box that is useful? It is said that although we practice slowly, we still have internal energy. Recently, I am about to get through the first main vein. Hee. Me too, step up your practice. Han Lin looked at Han Feng jealously, and then coldly said, waste is waste. I want to see it. When I practice human-level martial arts in the future, I need to mobilize the true energy in my body. At that time, I see how you lead. Time flies, and 2 hours have passed. Instructor Lin waved his hand and said, today, everyone has a good result. 4 people can barely use the claw skill to make several moves in a consistent manner. If you continue to work hard, you can only use the tricks. If you are proficient, you will not go wrong when urging your internal energy. Otherwise, your internal energy will be out of balance due to incorrect moves during the battle, but it will be broken. Oh! Many teenagers are still young, 13 or 14-year-olds are better, and 10 and 11-year-olds are very playful and run away like wind. Han Feng's face was flat. He walked out of the martial arts training ground slowly and walked towards his father's room. Pushed open the door of his father's room, and a handsome-looking man immediately got up and said, my son, come here, the food will soon be cold.